In this video, I'll share with you a tool I've been testing for scalping. It's called Trailing Profit Tool. Also, I'll share with you some tips and advice for scalping as well. So this will be an introduction to scalping. Now, one thing you probably will wonder is, have you really tested this tool? And I have, and I'll show you the results here. Now, this is on my test trading account. I do not let any beta software touch any of our live accounts. So what you're seeing here is just test results. And for instance, any losing trade that you see here, like this one here, these two on TNT, it's just because the tool actually did not catch up to the price movement. So my average win here is anywhere from 1 to 5%. You'll see here at Lend, it's 1.42, 1.38 on nulls. Trig is 1.32, 117, 1.50, right? There's some stuff that are 0.88, for instance. But let me just scroll down and just show you that I've pretty thoroughly tested this tool, right? As we go down here and keep going down. So as you can see, there's quite a few trades here. This is just my current session too. So this is just my current session right now. So like I said, all these losing trades, these are all just because the tool didn't keep up with the price action. And some of these I was testing too. So some of these I was testing strategies. So as I've got it dialed in, I mean, I've got it really dialed in now. So because I've done, well, just this session, I haven't exported this yet. But if we go to the spreadsheet here, this is only some of mine. And I think, how many trades have I done there? Let me see. My win rate is like 92%. So 575, so 575 trades there. And then this is me testing a lot of different strategies. So 575 plus whatever is here. Okay. So I've tested the tool and I've found what I think works best with this tool and the strategy. Okay. Now I'll provide a link below where you can get this tool. One thing I will mention is that you get this tool in a Telegram group, and I'm banned from this group, okay? So I ruffled the feathers of the admin. I think I went in there and I'm using the tool in not their approved strategy, because how this tool is really designed to be used. And, oh, well, okay. Well, I'm banned from the actual signals group as well. So, all right, cool. So it's okay because the signals are crap anyways. So, this tool, at least the way I think they were using it, right? This tool, at least the way that they were using it, is basically you'd get a signal in Telegram, right? And then you would go and look at everything and actually go in there and trade, right? That's really what, that's how they've designed this tool to work, okay? Those signals aren't that great. They're just not that great, all right? What I'm going to teach you in this video is the results that you're seeing here. And I've just, like in the last couple days, I've really just dialed it in. And I will be upfront, I'm a little hesitant designing a strategy or even sharing a strategy on a tool that I don't have access to, right? But the developer of this tool is really cool. He's really responsive on doing stuff. And if you do like this tool, down at the bottom here, you'll see the ability to send some BTC donation his way. I definitely suggest that you do that. So, because this tool, if you're using it and you're making money off of it, you should give some of it back. You really should, okay? So, and if you join the group there, you can say hi for me as well. So, especially if you watch this video and you get some good tips. Now, let's talk about what scalping is, okay? So, let me scroll all the way up here. Now, scalping, what you're really doing is you're looking to get in a trade and you're looking to make a small percent, right? So typically if we go here to ETC, or let's go to TRX, for instance, which I'm in another trade in our real account in TRX. And it's been kind of a pain for me to use this tool, honestly, to live scalp, because then I've got to go to our real account tool and then I've got to use this tool in my test trading, okay? So I'm kind of doing double entry scalping. So for instance, what you're doing in scalping is that you would be looking to potentially enter a trade here and then make 1 to 2%, right? You're looking to enter on this retracement here and then make 1 or 2%. Ideally, if you could stay in it longer, you would, right? But if you make 1 or 2%, you're pretty happy, right? So that's what you're doing with scalping, okay? Now, I use a tool for signals that I'll link down below as well, which is another good tool in just general trading. And this is called the crypto-based scanner. Okay. Now this crypto-based scanner, it's based on Quickfinger Luke's method, which is a method that I trade and I've adopted somewhat. I've actually changed a little bit. And this scanner is good. Now what you want to do on this scanner, okay, is you want to go to edit filters and you want to set the filter drop percentage to 1%. Okay. So set it to 1%. Select whatever, well, you can only use this tool on Binance right now. So select Binance. And then what will come up is the various times that these assets will actually drop, right? So if we go here and open it in Binance, you'll see here there was a reduction in negative volume. Now that little noise you hear, and I'll reduce it here in the video, is one when it just pops up. So you'll see here it just popped up, GRS, MDA. And if I haven't said this already, do not trade every one of these signals, okay? I'm going to give you some general advice, but do not trade every one of these signals, all right? You just because it pops up here, the 1% filter that I put on there is pretty aggressive, but that's what works best to give you the best opportunity to find these scalping trades, okay? So MDA is looking good, all right? And here's the thing. I hate to cover another tangent here, but I'm probably going to live scalp in this video and I'll share some tips, but I've scrapped this video 5 or 6 times, okay? Because, and some of them are about an hour and a half, 2 hours long, because for me, I don't like putting stuff out there that isn't good in my mind, okay? And in my scalping, the results that you've seen here, that's just me testing, okay? If I showed you my real results, it's phenomenal, and it's not fair to actually show those because it took me a while to get to that point, okay? But the reason why I'm saying that is because I will be doing more scalping videos here on YouTube, but I'm going to have to focus my efforts on doing the scalping in my training, okay? And it really comes down to this. It comes down to the ROI for me, is that I like to put stuff out. I like to help people, but for me to actually systematically go through the process of showing how to scalp highly effectively, I have to really put some effort and time into, and not that I don't in my normal training, I do, but I have to put really focused effort and time into doing this in a way that is going to make sense and get people there in the quickest amount of time possible. I'm talking about a week, right? And any time that I take away from trading is a reduction in my ROI, right? So while I like doing videos here on YouTube, and I do, I'll just be completely upfront. It makes it a little bit more worthwhile for me to say I shouldn't trade and do training videos when people enter my training, okay? So my scalping stuff, the stuff that the advanced stuff and everything else will be actually in my training, okay? Sorry for that segue. I just wanted to mention it. So let's talk about some rules of the road of scalping. Number 1, never look at the depth chart. This depth chart is a complete waste of your time. And I know I have videos where I look at it, and if I could go back in time and slap myself, I would. And these are some recent videos, okay? And there's been a couple things that have really enlightened me, and I will mention these in other videos and definitely in the training, but the main thing is that this is not reality, and it's a waste of your time to look at the depth chart. Never look at the depth chart. And I know it's tempting. If you are hindering yourself as a trader if you look at the depth chart. I'm just telling you right now, there is people that made massive wealth hundreds of years ago. They did not have a depth chart. And that's the philosophy that I'm using to do a lot of this scalping trading, okay? The other thing, the order book over here on the left-hand side, okay? The further that it gets away from the actual price, which is the last thing to move, the further it is from reality, okay? The way to look at this order book is it's like two guys that are getting ready to fight, If you've ever seen two guys that are getting ready to fight, but neither of them really want to fight, right? What do they usually do? Well, they're either talking smack back and forth, or they're trying to, pump up their muscles. I don't know. Who knows what they're doing, right? It's just really obvious that they don't want to fight. Have you ever seen that before, right? So that's the way you need to look at this order book. Yes, you should look at it. Yes, it plays into support and resistance, but it should be the last thing you should look at. So let me recap. The depth is not reality. You should never look at it. This is like two guys that are lining up to fight, but they really don't want to fight, okay? The most important thing when scalping is the trade history. This is reality. Over here is reality, okay? The velocity of capital in the trade history, the offset in buyers and sellers in the trade history, the velocity of movement in the trade history is what you're looking for. Next, you're looking at the daily, because you don't want to get stuck in a top, okay? You're looking at the hourly, okay? And the 4 hour, and then you're trading off the 5 minute, okay? Now you might be saying, well, how could I have time to do that? I gotta enter the trade. Two ways you can handle that. Number one, if you don't have time to look at that really quickly, then you've already missed the trade, okay? Number two, you can use a 4 chart setup like I do on TradingView. So right here, this is the daily, this is the 4 hour, this is the 1 hour, and then this is the 5 minute. Pretty cool, huh? The next thing that you can do and is you can enter a trade right away. This is a riskier strategy, but you could enter a trade right away at maybe 1%. So you enter a trade at 1% here, just like that, right? And I won't cover using this tool in this video because I think there's a manual and other stuff. Maybe I will. So if you see this and say, hey, I want to know how you use this tool, leave a comment below, and then maybe I'll cover exactly how to set up this tool and the deviations and everything else that I think is working best, okay? So you could enter a trade right away on MDA, right? And then you could go and do all this analysis and then maybe enter a larger position, right? So right now, MDA, during this time that we were talking, we didn't miss the trade, but once again, what am I looking at? I don't care about the two guys fighting over here, okay? Or lining up to fight. It does matter. I'm not saying it doesn't, okay? So when I say that, I do look at this. I do consider this, okay? Because it does matter, because it will embolden support. It will embolden buyers or make people sell, okay? That's true. And walls exist and everything else, right? But what am I trying to do in this video? I'm trying to advance you to the next level so that you can pull capital from this market through scalping. That's what I'm trying to do in this video. So what I'm telling you is what you should focus on, which is the trade history, volume, and price action. Price is the last thing to move, but you want to make sure that volume matches the price action here. That's what you're looking for, okay? And then you'll notice I haven't entered this trade yet because look at the velocity of capital. The velocity of capital is slow. Now we're on a low volume chart, right? So it's also understanding that we're on a low volume chart. What's the velocity of capital on that low volume chart? It's also understanding what's the average order size, right? But you'll see here, we could have entered at our 1% and we would have been okay. And in fact, that's what we're going to do. So what is this? What are we at? Is it MDA? I probably should know what I'm trading, huh? MDA. So we'll go to MD. Oh, I can only type M. MDA. And we're going to enter a trade at 1% of our trading capital and click create. Now what it's doing is it went out to the exchange and it's looking to fill our order, right? Now because this is a low volume chart and there's not a lot of price movement happening, it might take a little bit for us to get filled, okay? So let's look at the scanner. Let's see if anything else popped up. ADX, MTH. So let's look at MTH. ADX is good too because see that downtrend? It's 1.93. MTH. That actually looks okay. So once again, I'm looking at the velocity of capital. I'm looking at the order book, the trade history. I'm looking at the volume. I'm looking at the price action, right? I'm looking at, then I do glance at the two guys fighting, right? See, this here, it might give people confidence to go in, but that doesn't matter until you see it show up here. And then this actually moves. So let's enter MTH. That looks good. So I like what I see so far. As we scroll down, so you'll see here, the market moves in waves. All right, the market moves in waves. Capital moves in waves in the market. Here's a wave of sellers. And then are these sellers offset by the buyers here? No. So what you want to be able to figure out and look at, this wave of buyers, is this wave of buyers enough, so enough to offset any sellers that are stepping up? So I'll enter now based on what I see here. What is that, MTH? MTH. What did I see there? Well, I see a couple things. I see a wave of sellers coming in, okay? Which is fine for me, okay? So you'll see that wave of seller there. There's a seller here. Because what I'll do, and this probably goes contrary to the way that they actually teach to actually use this tool, is that I'm in that trade now, right? I'm in both these trades now. Well, I'm going to go 2%, and I'm going to watch MTH, and I might enter another position at a lower place because I'm watching these trades now. I'm in these trades. I've already decided that I saw something in the chart that led me to believe that there's a high probability that this is a good scalp, okay? But I might have been too early, all right? I might have been too early. You don't know. Every trade you do, regardless of the last one, is the same probability. It's a 50-50 chance, okay? I'm not looking to be right. I'm looking to pull capital from the market. That's what I'm looking to do. So let's see where we're at. This is why I've hesitated to do this video, just because, once again, in order for me to properly show how to trade this method and to do this highly successfully, I just have to cover a lot of different things, and I've just glossed over a lot of things here. So if you're just new and you're just starting, a lot of the things and the phrases that I've used, they don't have proper context. Now MDA, we're going to look at MDA just because we want to see, do we want to add to that position? And we absolutely do. Let's look at the 1 hour. See these ones here? These ones here are bots, right? So that's bot trading. And this is a good sign. You might say, well, it's only one. Well, the reason why it's a good sign is because something has woken those bots up, okay? So when you see trades like this, and then there's other indicators, when you see trades like this, you want to see more of them actually. That means that whoever's running bot software, something, a moving average, a Bollinger Band, something else has actually woke them up. So you'll see that we're starting to see a little bit of capital change hands. Now you'll see there's some buyer capital, right? Once again, I have not looked at the depth chart. We want to be on the 5-minute. We're going to actually add to MDA here in a second. So I want to see one more thing. So we'll go to MDA. And we're adding, I'm not suggesting anybody trade the way I do. I'm not suggesting anybody do scalping. So I just added to MDA. You'll see here on MTH, we're down 0.02%. Now keep in mind, the market moves in waves, and just because you enter a trade does not mean that it should go positive right away. If you're doing a retracement strategy like this, you're usually going to be in the red, okay? That's just the way it works. Usually you're in the red right away. Now I could go into another factor on why that is, but I'll do that in another video. Also realize these are low volume charts, so the price movement sometimes might take 1 or 2 hours to develop, okay? So these aren't high volume charts. The price action isn't moving, and I'm not doing breakouts, right? A breakout. So for instance, so let's look at RPX right now. RPX is mooning, not mooning. I don't know why I said mooning. RPX is starting to move. Okay. How do I know that? Because I have another scanner up because I have 6 monitors. So see that? Now, a breakout trader will trade this breakout. So here, right, a breakout trader will see this and then trade this breakout. And I'm going to do that. And I'll show you why you don't do this, okay? It might work out, actually. It'll probably work out now that I'm doing it. So let me do 1%. So I just put in a trade for RPX, and we got filled 49%. So maybe you'll see we got filled for 49% there. And actually, it's going to work. See, I bet it does work out. I bet this trade will work out now that I'm doing it live. But well, let's watch it. So the challenge with breakouts is that the majority of capital typically has already moved, right? And I'm just not a great breakout trader. So I don't like breakouts. I like the retracement, and then I like to add to positions. And sometimes I'll add to it as it breaks out, because then I've got confirmation, right? I haven't got confirmation that this isn't a real breakout. The other thing is that it only takes one trader on the other side of the world to stop this breakout. So that's something to keep in mind. It only takes one trader, and you're seeing that there is some of that, but let's see what's going on here. See, we're down 0.50%. Now, I might add to this. I got to look at the chart though. This is why, once again, why I just have hesitated doing this video, because I'm fearing that I'm making this look easy, okay? And it's not taken into account all the little things that I actually take into account when I can glance at a chart within 2 seconds and see things based on experience. I know this volume. I know whether or not it correlates properly to price action. I'm looking at this whole trend line. I'm looking at everything here. I can see where the hour ends here. I can see where the hour begins, right? I'm looking at the trade history. I'm glancing at this, right? Plus, I've traded all of these things. Everything that I've traded RPX, I've traded MDA, I've traded MTH, right? I know the price movements on some of these things, okay? So I'm really hesitant to do this video just because I don't want to make it look easy, all right? My goal in my training is to get people to that level, to get people beyond my level, actually. I want people to exceed me, and then I want to learn from them. So I want to teach people how to pull capital from this market, and then I want them to come to me and say, hey, I noticed this thing, and then they help me advance. That's my ultimate goal for the training, if I really want to be up front. So that would be awesome. And it's already starting to happen. People are already coming to me in direct messages and saying, hey, this and this and this, and it's already advanced a lot of some next level thinking. So you'll see here in MTH, we're starting to be up. MDA, we did not get filled there. So it's probably just sitting, and maybe there's an order above us. RPX, we're here. And I'm not going to live go through this. I might pause the video. But you'll see RPX is on a retracement. See, that's why I don't trade breakouts, right? Because that volume looked good, right? Didn't that volume look good? And it looked like it had room to go. But what happened? It retraced back. Now it might pick up here, but you'll see here, here's the wave of sellers. See that wave of sellers? Now here's a large cap order for 20,000, right? What you're looking in the trade history as well is you're looking for what's the average order, and then where does the average order get exceeded, right? So is the average order here 20,000? No. What's the average order, right? What is the average order? So that's what you're looking for. The other thing that you're looking for in the trade history you're looking at is watch the numbers. That's the velocity of capital I'm talking about, right? Now there looks to be people buying, quote unquote, this dip here. So it might find support, right? So we'll see. See where we're at. So there we are on MDA, MTH, we're up. RPX is up now. I might cancel this MDA position just because it didn't get picked up. So I canceled that. But you'll see if we would have got picked up, we would have had two positions that would be in the green right now, right? So that would have been a good trade. Now in cash, I've traded in cash today, and then now this is the last position here, and then this one here is down 0.32%. Let's see if the scanner popped up anything else. S&M and gas. Oh, Aeon. This is something, if you know my group, I trade this every day. Scalp this every day, and I'm extremely long on Aeon. That's actually a good move on Aeon. And now see, this is where, once again, this capital arrangement looks good, right? And then, yeah, this is why the depth chart is completely useless. See that? It's not real. Don't even look at it. I'm not even gonna like try to justify it, just because I could go on for 10 minutes. So we're gonna get an Aeon. We're gonna do an Aeon and 1.6%, and we're gonna do 4% of our trading capital. Create. Now, why did I do 4? Well, the other thing is that if Aeon here goes against me, I'm long, like 12 to 15 months long, and I've got positions on Aeon that are 120, 150%. So if this trade didn't work out on a scalp, I can definitely fold that in and dollar cost average our long-term position, right? So this is the other thing with scalping. A lot of these things I got lower positions on that are in good profits, right? So that's another way that you can kind of make daily profits. If you can daily trade and do scalping, and you've got longer term positions, which you should have long-term scalps, but are long-term swings and long-term positions. But then you can scalp those long-term positions, and then if one trade doesn't work out, you just kind of fold it into your long-term positions, right, as a dollar cost average. So that's another way to look at it. So you see here on Aeon, we're already up 0.29. Now that probably will bounce down here, I would assume. So you'll see here, there's a wave of capital. If you could, in the comments, and you got to this point, just share a comment, whether or not this stuff makes sense, whether or not things aren't clear. So we'll see here, whether or not it will move here. And let's see if there's anything else that popped up. Yo-Yo, Len's a good one to trade. Yo-Yo is down 1.64. So the bigger the I was gonna say the downage, the bigger the downage, if that's a word, the better it is. Look at that. That's a good one. So so what you want is you want to break of a support zone, okay? And then let's look at the 1 hour. Yeah, so that's the other thing. A break of a resistance zone on a 1 hour is strong, right? Because 1 hour traders will look at it. 4 hours, obviously. I mean, it's not going to be a break of the 4 hour, but you'll see here the 4 hour and then the day. Once again, you don't want to get stopped. Now, we've had a decline, so I know I'm not going to get stopped on the top here, but let's do Yo-Yo, right? Let's put our trade in for Yo-Yo. I looked at 3 other things there too, just so you know. So I noticed a couple different things, and if I get a chance, I'll go back. Oh, we traded 4%. So, sorry. I have risk management rules. So, 2%. Even though this is my test account, I still have risk management rules. And I don't know what we have in our test account. What do we have? 3.34 BTC. So, whatever that is. So, and that's we're also testing another thing. So that's whatever's just available now that's been cashed out of trades. Ooh, look at that. Down 8.85. So let's look and see what's happening with Yo-Yo. Some sell action there. See that? So someone ate up the book. And there's a wave of buyers. That's good. So let's see this here. Still down. Oh, we're down 1.5%. So it bounced back. If we were still down 1.5%, I'd add a new position to yo-yo. Okay. Once again, I'm not suggesting you trade this. I'm not suggesting you trade my style. So let me look at yo-yo. The other thing that hinders me here, oh, look at that volume. That's pretty good. And the wave of sellers. And then you could say that on the order book, looks like there's support down here. Okay. So the other thing that I'll mention is that I'm going to enter a new position in yo-yo. I forgot what I was going to say, but something about something. Oh, look at that. We're down. So there's some big price movement going on there. I don't want to make this look easy. Okay. And just because I'm trading this way, the things that are going on in my mind right now, that sounds a little weird. The things that I'm looking at and that I'm noticing, right? I'm looking at the other thing. I'm looking at the 24-hour change. I'm looking at the last price. I'm looking at the 24-hour high, the low. I'm knowing where we're at in that. Okay. I'm knowing that we're kind of just above the 24-hour low, right? But there's a huge, now I know this because I've been trading the last couple days, right? So I just know the price movements, right? So I'm looking at all these things. That's why I just wanted to be very clear, okay? In my training, I will go through detail, like exhausting detail of this stuff, because you'll have to get it at a core level. Now, I probably entered this second trade a little too close, right? Oh, I know what I was going to say. I have 6 monitors, and I'm trying to not look at any other monitor right now, just because I don't want to make this trading as if someone, if you're on a laptop, for instance, I just don't want to. So you'll see here BTC, right? I just don't want to trade as someone that has 6 monitors. I want to trade as someone that has just maybe 1 or 2 screens. Okay. So BTC is, it had its decline, which we did buy a basis position. This is also, I'll just give a shout out to value channels. I drew this value channel 3 days ago, and you notice this value channel, it told me exactly where the retracement was going to be back on BTC, this diagonal one. I drew that 3 days ago. So that's just powerful, right? That's why in my training, I cover value channels. And if you've seen the training, if you've seen the public one, the horizontal one, you'll see why value channels are just powerful. I mean, this gave us a good range on this retracement here. All right, let's go and look and see. Yeah, yo-yo is, all right, well, we're going to add to that position. So what I was saying is that these 2 positions are a little closer. I shouldn't have added this one yet. I should have waited to this one here. So I typically want a 1.3 to 1.5. Usually my trailing activation is where I want to put the next position in that range. So my trailing activation is 1.6, which means that when it gets to 1.6%, it will activate the trailing profit, and then it will have a deviation of 0.5. And, I'm testing these numbers. I want to move these numbers up. And I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning. In my Discord group, what I'll start doing after I cover this in training is that I'll be actually doing voice calls of my trades. Now you'll see we just got cashed out a yo-yo, one for 1.19 and one for 0.35, right? So obviously people jumped in. So let's see what's going on there. So you'll see here that spike here, we got picked up there, and it's still moving. Now I'm not going to add to the trade now just because it's a breakout, right? And I said we've made our profit on this move, okay? So we'll buy the next retracement. Now, if you want to be a breakout trader, you could trade this, right? But I've made my profit on this move. I'm going to move on to the next thing. So let's see if we got out of that 3rd position, and we still have a position here. So that price spike. So you'll see here where we were up 1.25, and let's see. So one of our positions got cashed out at 0.35, and one of our positions got cashed out at 1.19. All right. Now we're waiting for this other position. See, this is where if you would enter a breakout, you'd be in this position right here. And we could exit this right now at a profit, right? But we would be at break even right now if we entered a breakout and waiting for the ride up. And to me, that's a more riskier trade. So you'll see this wave of capital. This wave of capital is the sellers. Remember the market, even on the 5-minute, moves in waves. The volume looks good there. So we'll see. I do think this will make it in profit. We just have to be patient. And that's the biggest thing with these things, just being patient, right? Like anything else in trading, it's trading unemotionally. It's being patient. That's what I'm doing here. So what I'm going to do is, see, this is a prime example why you don't break out. See, if we would have broke out, we'd be down right now. And I could exit this position right now, right? And then because we've made on aggregate one of these positions is bigger, right? So on aggregate, we could make, I think we made 1.6, no, 1.45. So 1.5. So we could enter this and still be, we could exit this right now and still be in profit. Or what could we do? Well, there's been a little bit of a retracement here. So if nothing has changed, potentially, we could enter now if it gets below that. But I'm waiting for really what's happening right now. Here's what's happening, right? Anybody that's trading, they're looking at it and they've seen a break there, but they're wondering, is support going to kick up? Now, a 1 hour trader, right, isn't going to add to this position here, right? Just given where it's at right now. I hope this is helping. This is going, you know, a little bit different direction than I anticipated here in this video. So Ncash is on a retracement. I might add to Ncash. Let me look at Ncash. All right, well, I actually paused the video because I had to go do some live stuff. And let's see where we're at. And I've done some more trades just because. So we see where did we last end up? Yo-yo. So here on MTH, we did get out at 1.01%. RPX, so that breakout actually did work. 1.44, it's pretty good. Let's see, Ncash is about, I did not add to that position, but it's up. I could get out now at 1% or a little bit less. And then Steam, you'll notice here I did the strategy on Steam. So see here is Steam. I entered Steam, I was early on the actual downtrend. And then what did I do? I entered an additional position on Steam and we're up 0.54 on that position. So I'm going to give it a little bit more room. And what I could do right now, and this is what I really wanted to cover because I did Steam correctly, is that I could cash out both of these positions and I'm just at a smaller loss, or I could give it a little bit more room, I guess you could say. So if we go here and look at Steam, yeah, so I bought here in this retracement, and, and I did not get an exit. Actually, I bought on this retracement, did not get an exit, and then as you see here, there's capital starting to come in and maybe push the price up, right? So one thing I'll mention is I use the word capital. I know it's BTC, but if you know any of my videos, if you follow my training, I'm very precise, or I try to be very precise in the phrasing and everything else I use, because you're training your mind to trade. You're building your habits. And the phrases you use, how you look at things, how you do things, will reinforce positive habits. So I use capital because as you get to trade crypto, you're going to naturally probably move to other markets. So you want to think in capital. This is capital flow. Okay, it's not BTC, it's capital. All right, so that's why I use some phrasing like that, in case you were wondering. So you'll see here with this position, we could exit right now, right, on Steam, if we thought, if we were looking at this and said, okay, well, where are we really at on Steam, right? What's really going on here? Did it lose strength? Maybe you'll see here, there's this what you would consider a wall, right? And that's fine. You know, let's say that this wall drives sellers down. What is it doing? This is why you have to sometimes think contrary, but that's also why these two guys fighting. I know that's not the best analogy as I've thought about this, but this does drive market action, but it has to correlate to here, right? So let's let it correlate to here. Now, as it breaks this, what's happening on the 1 hour, right? I might even add to this position again. Once again, I'm not suggesting you trade this way. I'm not suggesting you trade like me, okay? I'm just sharing my style, what I'm doing, okay? How I'm pulling capital from this market, all right? Using this scalping strategy, obviously. So we're down. All right, well, so all right. We're going to go with Steam. We're going to go 4%. So let's give it a little bit of room to work out. So let's let people sell a little bit more into that. So you'll see that there's people jumping ahead of that, right? Because they're emotionally trading. Right now, they're worried that they're seeing this price decline. Maybe they bought this top here, right? So they're a little concerned. They're not waiting for it to bounce back up. So let's go here. I want that to go a little bit more down before I would add to the Steam position at a larger position size. And then what I could do is that this larger position size, if it does move 1%, then I could cash out of this 4% position and then cash out of these other positions as well, right? But I'll give these a little bit of room to work. And what else do we have? This yo-yo position right here, it's starting to be profitable. This is the one that did not cash out before earlier in the video. So, and I think time here, we're talking maybe about an hour. So I think an hour has gone by. And cash is about to hit the deviation, maybe. The deviation is, or the activation is 1.5 with a deviation of 0.5. So you'll see here. I do wish I could change this on the fly. So sometimes when you see things move, I wish I could go in there and edit this on the fly. So that'd be kind of cool. And so Steam is starting to get some downward pressure. I did enter another position in DNT as well. So I saw that pop up on the scanner. Let's see what's on the scanner. Zill's actually a pretty good one to trade. I probably say that about everything, don't I? Probably saying that about everything. Zill. Let's see here. Yeah, so I'm getting a little leery of scalping right now. Okay, so this is a good example. So I'm glad I'm actually recording now. So see this run up, okay, and this move here. This is on the 5-minute, right? So if we look on the hour, it's going to look even more pronounced. So see this. Now it might be running, but it's also testing this range here. See, I'm not even using the super sexy charts on TradingView, right? I'm just looking at these, right? Well, it's hitting this range. It's had some rejection to the upside, and it had rejection before, and then it went back on a retracement, right? So this might be, the probability of this happening again is a little bit higher, right? So I'm going to be very careful about entering Zill. I want to see more of a retracement. So I'm not going to be as aggressive with my entry, is maybe the way to look at it, as I would be. So I'm going to be more patient, okay? So sometimes the way I've been trading so far maybe has been a little bit less patient, okay? So with this current trade here, where it's at, I'm going to be more patient, just because it's at the top of this recent run-up range, okay? And the volume looks good. The capital flow looks okay, right? But I would prefer to see it break this 5-minute range. So this 10-minute price action here, I'd prefer to see it break right here, okay? That's what I'd prefer to see for me to enter the trade at this moment. So I'll finish up these trades and then I'll call it a video. So this Steam position is down 1.38, and then this one here. So, you know, like I said, it's just being patient with these things, right? These things move in waves. And you've got two opposing people at 1.9, 1.9 that are looking to way this happens too sometimes is that there's people that have positions that they're looking to cash out, right? So then they have Steam, and then they have obviously BTC, and then they're playing the middle to make the price not move. And then what you'll see is none of these orders will get, you'll see it's not typical market orders, but the things will get eaten up really fast, right? And the only way you'll see that is by looking over here, right? So you'll be watching this, and this is why what I'm saying is about these charts are heavily manipulated, okay? And I'm going into a tangent that I can't go into full detail on, so that's why it's probably not making sense. But when you see walls of capital line up, okay, whether or not what's happening with that wall of capital is revealed here, okay? What's happening and why that wall of capital is there. Now, sometimes it does just get eaten through, right? But what's happening is revealed here in the trade history, the reality of the asset changing hands between the market maker, the buyers and sellers, right? That's what's happening. So without getting on too much of a tangent, that's an important aspect when you're looking at large capital orders on the books. So here's the thing. I don't usually watch these things. This is the other thing. I mean, I'm usually on to the next trade. And then when things pop up and they look like they're not doing well, then I'll dive in and I'll go deeper. So AST, for instance, here. Yeah, so AST is not a good trade. See that 1 hour, right? I mean, it might break out, but that's a breakout trade right now on the 1 hour. And then even the 5 minute, it's just rejection of the 5. Well, no, it is a downtrend on the 5 minute, but you wanted to break this zone here on the 5 minute. So I'll give it some more time. Although AST is part of our long-term holds, so I would potentially more aggressively trade this. And I don't like the word aggressive, but I can't think of a better word to like describe the fact that I would maybe enter here, just because I'm long AST. I like the team. I like it's one of those things in crypto that I think it is well positioned. So that's another example of what I'm talking about here. Yeah, so like I said, I don't watch these actively. I'm watching the scanner, and then it makes a noise too. So and then when it makes a noise, I'll go and pop it up. And what didn't I just have MTH open? Thought I just changed it. Yeah, so we were in a trade on MTH before, so we did get cashed out. So it obviously had a retracement, right? When I record these videos, for some reason, wow, look at that. Okay, someone decided they wanted to sell some ATH and sell into the actual book. So you'll see this a lot. This would actually be probably a good entry because it usually bounces back pretty hard from that. All right, so we're going to actually enter. And remind me to change the balance. As if you probably talking like, hey, change the balance. Create. All right. Might not get picked up. Sometimes that price move actually does move pretty quick. So that's the other thing. So we got picked up on NTH, and this is a prime example of why when you're entering trades like this, you're in the red. So you'll see I was in the red right away, right? So think about why this is, okay? So let's look at the trade history, okay? So someone sold a large part of MTH, spiked the price basically down because they basically bought up the whole book, right? Everything that was there. And that spiked the price, and then a lot of limit orders, stop limit orders got triggered, right? Things got triggered. And then this order here, right? And some other orders caused the price to spike here, right? And then we entered an order, and then we sat right here on the books, okay? So in order for our order to get picked up, the price has to go down, right? And then usually that price goes down from a seller, and then that seller's not just usually just buying into or selling into us. They're selling into maybe another person or another, not person, but other orders on the books, right? So this isn't just one person, right? So that's why when you're using this tool, right, the fact that you enter a position and that you're at a loss right away, that's sometimes you're at positive, but usually you're at a loss right away, because that's kind of functionality or functionally how it works. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. So you'll see here we're up already on MTH, and Steam is just losing steam. I did not plan that. So let's go here. Yeah, so it's really just this capital orders here. These capital orders, obviously, but you'll see people are still buying into it. These are bots, I believe, at 471. So something's triggered on that, right? Something's triggered. Some kind of indicator, some kind of trading signal has triggered for bots. And why am I mentioning that? Well, because, and I'm not saying I don't use indicators. I do. Usually I'm looking at this too. So remember, I have multiple monitors, and if I didn't, I would go to this and maybe I would look at Steam. And you'll see here, you know, I can see at a glance that on the daily it's still pushing up. You know, it's had a retracement here on the 1 hour, right? Back from here. And, you know, the buy zone for this is really below this support range, right? Down here is really the buy zone for this on the 5 minute. So we're a little early, but I'm also reading the market the way it is right now. And people are still, you have to trade with the waves of the market, right? So definitely we were early on Steam though. I can tell you that right now. So I hesitate doing what I'm going to do here live in the video, but I'm going to do it because I'm not going to not tell the truth. I'm not going to not trade how I trade. You know, that's the one thing. Yeah, I removed all my stop losses on everything last night, and because I saw market behavior, right? And just because I know how these things bounce back, right? I just know I can read it. So I saw it across all these charts. So I basically removed all stop losses on everything, okay? And that was a good move. And I didn't share that until maybe about an hour after I did it in my group. And that's why sometimes I feel bad about just doing calls or doing things, just because a lot of times for me to trade and do stuff, I have to focus on it and I have to do it, right? That comes first. And then I do share what happens or what I'm doing. So this is a prime example where what I'm going to do here is based on experience, right? If I do it, because I'm still waiting for this. I'm waiting for this to go down a little bit more. We just got cashed out, right? Yeah, and cash. Yeah, see, this is this deviation. So the deviation was at 1.5, so it obviously was a spike in price, right? And then we got an exit at 0.77%, right? So obviously it was a spike down, and I bet if we look at the chart, it's going to bounce back, right? So if we go to end cash, do I have it open anywhere? No, end cash. It could still be going down. That's the other thing. Yeah, well, look at that. Yeah. Okay, so that's a big spike. Now you'll see it bounce back up though. So you'll see that. So we might re-enter an end cash. I'm going to be more patient on this as well, because this has been running all day. So if we look at the 1 hour. Okay. When I record, sometimes this thing just gets slow. So it's been really, I mean, it's still got some ground to make up if you're looking at trying to get back to this range, right? So, but I'm going to be patient. The other thing too is that the Asian market hasn't fully got up yet. So I want the Asian market to get up, and I want to see how they react to the recent price movements. Okay, it's 354, right? So if we look at the time, right? The time here is I'm in Central Standard Time, so it's 3:54 here, and over in Seoul, Shanghai, and Tokyo, it is, 554 to 454. So the Asian market has not totally got up yet. And once I like to wait a little bit more, like an hour, hour and a half, to see how they react to the price movements of the day. And keep in mind they're a day ahead, so it's Thursday there. So you always have to be cognizant of what day it is for them, how they might be looking at the market, right? So I kind of slow down a little bit of trading here because, once again, this is why I'm glad I'm continuing this video. Just, I know it's long and it's probably just, hopefully you're getting value from it, but this is something I keep in mind. So why am I not entering trades that maybe I entered at the beginning of the video? Well, we're in this zone where it's the wave of activity of market activity, and the people that can act on the market aren't fully up yet. And I want to see how they're going to react to the recent moves. I want to see if they're going to get up and be excited, or they're going to take profits, right? Maybe they bought, the retracement happened yesterday and they're going to take profits. Maybe something's going to happen with BTC, right? So I want to give the cycle of the market a little bit of room before I get into positions that I'm going to be in longer than I want to be, okay? So that's the other thing that I keep in mind, and I think that everybody should keep that in mind when you're trading, is like, what time is it? Who can act, right? So it's good that we're waiting on Encash. And I will say that if I'm probably showing a more aggressive trading strategy here. So you should do what I'm doing right now with Encash. Wait, be patient. With Zill, didn't I mention Zill? So Zill is actually a little bit different. Is it MTH? MTH did move. So let's go to Encash. So with Encash, just be patient. See, it had rejection of the downside on good volume on the 5-minute, but then it's having rejection again, right? But it's still retracing back. Well, give it time to do that. And I'm not even mentioning looking at this capital that's going in though. Looks good though, right? So that looks good. But see, it's being offset right now. What you want to look at is, okay, that one order, how many buyers does it take to offset that and then move the price up? That's what you want to look at, right? Here's a 430,000 sell. See that? This also shows you confidence in the market, right? That didn't show up here, right? So when you want to understand, okay, well, that's 430,000. How many buyers on a velocity of capital flow does it take to then eat that up and then also move the price up, right? Those are the things you want to start keeping in mind. And then is the velocity of sellers increasing, right? See how the sellers, they're bigger? I mean, you can see that in price action, right? But see that 92,000, 40,000, 98,000, right? So this is one reason why it does pay to be patient, obviously. So, and you would look at this chart anyways and say that, well, and I said that, you wanted to break a couple of these key resistance areas on the 5-minute, right? So we're starting to see some, but still the seller orders that are coming through are far exceeding any buyers that you see, right? You've seen a couple buyers here and there, right? But they're nowhere. If you look at like a matchup, right? If you look at, let's say you have two gladiators, right? Well, and you have the seller gladiator and the buyer gladiator, right? Who has the most weapons, right? Who's more fierce? Obviously the sellers, as you're watching it live, right? So if you're at the Coliseum right now, you're seeing that obviously the hits by the sellers is more fierce, right? The hits by the buyers is kind of coming back a little bit. I'm coming up with some of these analogies on the fly here, so please share with me whether or not they help illuminate what's happening here. So see that 71,000. Still going to be patient. We want that capital above us, right? Now it might have moved the price right now, but let's just be patient, right? So MTH, we're up 1.08. My next thing on this tool actually is, so I've got the strategy, I think, between a 1% and 3% pretty well, right? My next is I want to get to 3 to 5%, right? So, and hopefully it'll be this tool. I figure out how I get access to it. but I'll find a tool that I can scalp 3 to 5% just as consistently as I'm doing this 1 to 3%, if not more. Sometimes I've got it. The highest I've ever got with this tool was 12%. But like I said, I need to just test these numbers more and just kind of dive in and take it to the next level. All right, so I'll end here. I did enter another position on Aeon here, which is up 0.31. And then those two positions, DNT, maybe I didn't mention that one. We got an exit at 1.21, and then Yo-Yo got out at 1.25, okay? Because my next thing that I'm going to do is 1% is cool, 2% is cool. To me, a scalping method that could do 3 to 5% consistently as what we see here is really the end goal for this. So that's really my goal, is to find a scalping strategy that maybe you're doing 2 trades. Maybe you're doing one that's 1 to 2%, and then you're doing another trade that's 3 to 5%. So to me, that's the ultimate scalping strategy in this market, and I will get there. And before we officially wrap up, I've mentioned the training a couple of times. Let me talk about that just because I want to share what that is, okay? Originally, when I launched my training, it was something that was just going to be a short training. But what I'm doing now is that it's never stopping, basically. For as long as I'm trading crypto or doing trading, because I trade other things, I'm adding to the trading. So I'm always consistently updating it. And my training is not designed to have you trade like me. My goal of my training is to give you the skill set so that you are someone who can reliably and consistently extract capital from the crypto market. That's a successful trader. So this is an overview of what's in the training. It covers fundamentals, it covers technical analysis, it covers mechanics of a trade. And you'll see here I've added a scalping section here, and then we will be covering bots and tools, okay? That's something I'll be diving deep into. When I find a bot that actually works and not a bot that's a complete joke, then I will share that bot, and then I will share exactly how we've set it up and everything else. So that's what's in the training. Keep in mind that this is just the framework. It consistently is added to. You can join the Discord group. You can ask other people that are in the training and just ask them for their honest feedback of what's in there so far. So definitely, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And hopefully what you found in this video gives you some good tips and advice on scalping. So that's all. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.